Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down all of our favorite fictional universes. Today, we're going to be covering The Mandalorian, Chapter 11. It's titled The Heiress. As usual, I'm Jacob, and I'm here joined by Sir Iasis. So we are going to get into the episode. I don't have any Star Wars news, unless you do, Sir Iasis.
I'm thinking... Error, nothing.
All right. Anyway, yeah, okay, so let's just, I guess, go right into it. The brief little, summary, slash whatever you want to call it, of the episode says, The Mandalorian braves high seas and meets unexpected allies. And so we get a little, you got the Disney intro, and then we enter in. The Razor Crest is heading toward a planet very rustily, like it is barely making it, because as we saw in the previous one, it was falling apart. Yeah,
I saw that planet, and for the first split second I saw it, I was like, what the heck are they doing around Jupiter? And then I took in the colors. I was like, that's not
but they're asleep, and it is the child, Mando, and Frog Lady, and the alarm kind of starts beeping and going off. So they wake up, they enter in for landing, and their landing system is not responding. So Mando says that they're going to have to do it manually, which is going to make it very choppy, a lot harder.
Yeah.
He plans to burn up all of the fuel to slow down once they enter into the atmosphere, if they don't burn up. So he does just that.
No big deal.
Yeah. No, this first part's fairly fast paced, I want to say. So I feel like I'm just reading through it, and we're not really breaking down anything yet. But that's just because it's pretty fast paced. There's nothing really break down.
Mando and Frog Lady trying to keep the ship under control.
Pretty much, yeah.
He has to grab one lever, but really doesn't say what it does.
Yeah, but
we do get to see an Admiral Akbar watch them coming down to the surface.
Yeah, there's a Mon Calamari just staring as they're
Jacob, it's an Admiral Akbar.
Okay, sorry, it's a Aloha snack bar.
Thank you.
So Mando enters free fall.
Honestly, as they're going down, there's just chunks of the ship flying off.
Oh yeah, it's burning up a bit and falling apart. They end up engaging all the fuel at the very last second, slowing down significantly and being able to almost land, because they engage the thrusters, and then they kind of they do hover above that landing pad. And then Mando goes, there we go, nice and easy. And then one of the thrusters blows up, and they just go straight into the water. Because it is a water planet. It's not only a water planet, but they're right next to.
Yeah, and we get the
water.
Typical, the Mandalorian, the Heiress. Cut screens for a second there. And then...
Right, we get our little title card.
Yeah, we see this giant crane pulling the Razor Crest out of the water. And it resembles an AT-AT walker.
Yeah, kind of.
From the lower half.
Crane on it.
Yeah, from the lower half at least.
But go ahead.
I just kind of always assumed that it was an AT-AT at one point, and it just got repurposed after the Empire fell.
Yeah, honestly, it very well could be.
I just kind of made that assumption with it. I mean, just because it looks very similar. At least the legs do. And I mean, the AT-AT, I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard to put a platform on it and then put a crane on the platform
No, probably not. But they exit out of the Razor Crest and talk to a Admiral Akbar, who says that he says he can make the ship fly. So Mando kind of is like, all right, it hires him to do just that. Frog Lady shouts for her husband, kind of is looking around. Finally, she does hear a return, and in comes her husband, and they are reunited. They both kind of examine the eggs.
And we get Frogman and Frog Lady.
Yeah, we do.
Um,
Um,
and we do get to see another race as well, walking across
mhm.
the docks. We have the Mon Calamari or the Admiral Akbars, and then we have the Quarren, which
Yep.
are the squid face people.
Right.
They're all just like background characters, just walking around the docks.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of Quarren, not a whole lot of Mon Calamari as of yet.
Right. But yeah, Mando tells the child they will get food soon. Frogman points towards the inn in town as he searches for Mandalorians because they kind of like exchange a little bit, and the Frogman's like that way. And we see this hooded figure watching, and we see we see her face, but she got a hood on. She's kind of watching him, and then some stuff shifts and she's gone. Cut back to the next scene where Mando enters the restaurant, or the inn, whatever it is. Frogman directs Mando to a Mon Calamari, who then sits them down and asks what he can get them. And Mando tells him chowder for the child. Mando buys some information from that fish. He says that there's others in Beskar, and they have been through there. So he's got a little bit more of a... it's like, okay, I'm in the right place. The child starts staring at the soup and kind of playing with it with his spoon. And then a tiny little squid jumps out of it and latches onto the child's face. Mando just says, "Don't play with your food," and lightly stabs the squid with his knife, and it just falls off.
Child is just like so confused on what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then a Quarren does sit down.
Yeah.
With Mando.
Cthulhu Sam Elliott comes up, and he just goes, "You seek others of your kind." He says that he can bring Mando to them, and it's a few hours sail, though it'll cost him. Which, actually, so at this point, I don't know if you have any notes, not notes, but anything you want to bring up, like that kind of notes, at this point, because we're about to switch scenes.
No, not really. There's not really anything.
Okay. Well, cool, because we have another sponsor for this episode. This episode is sponsored by The Next Scene. So I got to lower my voice for this one. We're sponsored by MCN. All right. Airing this fall on the Mon Cala network. Quarren, Deadliest Catch. Join in as 8 of the most rough and tough squid heads fight the waves of Trask. Will they be able to contain the mighty Mamacor? Frick, I cannot pronounce half the crap that I have here, so never mind. Moving on. You know what? Nope.
Oh.
Bailing on it. Sorry, we lost a sponsorship there. Mon Cala Network's probably going to drop us after that F up. Man. I know. Anyway. They're on a boat. Mando is.
On a boat.
With several Quarren. One of them asks Mando if he's ever seen a Mamacor eat, and says that it's quite a sight. They open up this cage and start feeding this creature, which is apparently a Mamacor. They end up throwing the child into it. The child closes up his pod as he kind of enters this like mini kraken. And Mando jumps in after, and they say that the Beskar is as good as ours. So their whole goal here, we can kind of see now, was to, kill Mando, take his Beskar, and get some money.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we said before, Beskar is pretty spiffy stuff.
Yeah.
But he comes back up and grabs onto some of the bars. They keep trying to hit his hands to make him drown.
Yeah.
But
as he's kind of like sinking, and we kind of are questioning how he's going to get out of it, 3 more Mandalorians come in and start killing all of the boatmen. One dives in after the child, after they get Mando out. We see the water kind of like light up a bit, and then that Mandalorian emerges with the pod severely bent up. Like it's pretty damaged. But they open it and see that the child's just chilling. He's there. He's cool. He's okay. And Mando thanks them. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Because you are.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
is there anything that you have to say? Like, I don't know.
There's plenty I have to say, but I can't say it.
Not yet. It just hasn't reached that part yet.
Yeah, I can't say it.
Okay. So we're just covering our bases, getting to the point in which we can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I will keep talking, and we will get through this until you can talk. Yeah, so he says that Mando says he's been seeking more of their kind and starts explaining his quest. One of them takes off her helmet, kind of cutting him off mid-sentence because in his mind, as we've established before, Mandalorians do not take off their helmets. So it's kind of like oh, thank God I found you. Oh, no, you're not the real deal.
Yeah, and this is a point, and where Mando even asks like where they got their armor, or like where they got it from, like who they stole it from, essentially. And the lady says that it's been passed on her family for generations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if I've covered it or not for the last season or not with Mandalorians, but for Mando, in case I have not, I'll just do it again. Or if I have, I'll do it again. If not, I'm covering it now. For Mando, he was part of an enclave, an old faction of Mandalorians that is dying out. Like, very few of them are left alive, where they follow the quote-unquote old ways of Mandalore, where you don't remove your helmet unless, like, you're eating, you're only by yourself, and all that kind of stuff, which we've seen up until this point, in the show. Whereas these three are like, yeah, screw that, we don't care about that stuff. And they're more like the new Mandalorians, quote unquote new Mandalorians.
Right.
And because like way back when, in this universe, when you had like the Jedi Mandalorian War and all that stuff from like the old Republic era, that was definitely a thing where like keep your face covered. And Mando's essentially his cult, because that's really what it was. The enclave he was a part of. They still believed in all of that, whereas the rest of Mandalorians, and because you do see Mandalorians in the Clone Wars TV show and in the Rebels TV show and whatnot, all of them, like almost all of the rest of the Mandalorians, don't care about that anymore.
Yeah. And we kind of discover that in their dialogue, because he just says, you do not cover your face, you're not Mandalorian, and one of the guys like, oh no, he's one of them. And then they kind of ask, and the female there, by the way, well, I'll get to that, who she says she is, but she explains that he is part of he's a child of the Watch. And apparently the Children of the Watch are a cult of religious zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society. And their goal was to kind of reestablish the ancient way. And basically as soon as, well, as what you said, Evan, they're more like traditionalists in a way. It's like, you must cover your face and all that. Whereas this new group and pretty well every other Mandalorian is just kind of like, I mean, no.
Essentially, yeah. And I mean, there's other groups that broke off during, like, before and during the Clone Wars from Mandalore itself. Because, I guess a little bit of a spoiler warning, not really though, for the Clone Wars. During the Clone Wars era, for the most part, Mandalore was like a pacifist planet. They didn't believe in violence. They didn't believe in fighting. They were all about democracy. all that kind of stuff. And because of that, there were clans that broke off because they still believed it to the extent of at least like Mandalorians are great warriors, they're great combat and fighting style and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Mandalore is broken up into its various clans, kind of like I would almost say kind of equate it to like the Native Americans in the in the North and South America way back when they were around. Like they're all grouped in Native Americans, but they have their differences from clan to clan, from tribe to tribe.
So they're like kind of all.
But at this point,
I can see that.
Yeah, but at this point in the Clone Wars era, instead of like these clans just fighting each other because they're different clans, it's like we're different clans, but we've come together as a united Mandalorian society. Instead of like back for Native Americans, some of them would literally just fight another tribe because it was that tribe,
Yeah.
But there were different clans that broke off and still believed in part of the older Mandalorian stuff, but not all of it. Whereas those guys that broke off, like they full blown old way is the right way. Like you don't do it the old way, you're not a real Mandalorian.
But anyway, so yeah, we established kind of what was going on with his group, his enclave. But we also learn who this person is, this woman, and she says that she is Bo Katan of Clan Carice, which I know is part of Clone Wars. I have not seen that part yet, but I know she's at least a larger character in that.
She's kind of like a side character, and you only see her in a few episodes. She becomes way more relevant to the Clone Wars in the last season, the last few episodes of the last season. But it was just for this though. It's just the fact that they brought her into the Mandalorian, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And really, because like she knows, unlike Mando, right? She knows all about the Jedi and their ways, and she's fought with and against them, and like just the fact that they're finally bringing someone into the show that actually knows about that stuff and like knows about what happened during the Clone Wars a lot more than like any of the other characters we've been introduced to so far. It's like a big deal, and she was a fan favorite in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And so this was just like a, oh my god, mind blown, what the heck, holy crap, type of deal.
Yeah. But
because like with her being brought in as well, it's just like, well, now what has happened since we last saw her in the last scenes of the Clone Wars all the way until now? It's been like 30 years. Like what has she been up to? What's going on? Why isn't she on Mandalore? Like all these questions for someone like me who's watched the show, it's just like, what's going on? Whereas for you, it's probably just like, okay, another Mandalorian, cool.
I mean, essentially, yeah. I don't get all the background behind it, but I mean, I've read into it a little bit, but not nearly as much as you probably do.
Yeah.
But she explains that she was born on Mandalore and fought in the Purge, which is kind of given a little more background, which you probably would have known in the Clone Wars.
Well, no, so this is totally something. The Purge is completely different from Clone Wars.
Well, no, I meant like I feel like that maybe was something that was mentioned in the Clone Wars. Not that you saw happen, but it wasn't?
No, the Purge happens in Star Wars Rebels. That happens during the Empire. The Empire is the ones that commit the Purge of Mandalore. That's like a whole different thing, and I just remember that you actually see Bo Katan in Rebels as well. It's like a 3-episode arc for the Purge of Mandalore type deal. And I totally forgot about that till right now. But yeah,
I see.
Like,
well, anyway, just continuing to go along. Mando basically tells him that you're not Mandalorians. He says there's only one way, the way of Mandalore. Basically saying, I don't agree with your ways. Peace. Because he jetpacks off and takes off away from them.
Well, because it's essentially what I said before with, like, that enclave that Mando was a part of. Like, they believe in the old ways, and if you don't believe in the old ways, you're not a Mandalorian. Is essentially what he just said right there,
Yeah.
Like, well, if you don't believe in the way, then you aren't a real Mandalorian piece.
But, we then see him, he's watching the boat that he was just on, and it's sometime later we see all three of those Mandalorians jetpack off of it and blow it up on their way out. Because and now it's nighttime now. Like in that section, it was kind of like sunset, but now it's nighttime. And
sorry.
Mando, what?
Real quick before you continue, I forgot about. So, the whole purge thing that Bo Katan had mentioned, right? That's the reason there's hardly any Mandalorians left.
Okay, yeah.
That purge is what wiped out almost all of the Mandalorians and made the planet actually uninhabitable. To current timeline. And that's why Mandalorians having such trouble actually finding other Mandalorians and all that type of stuff. And that's why Mandalorians aren't seen a whole lot anymore because of that purge.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry. Anyways, back to nighttime, Mando.
No, it's fine. So he's walking with the child, and one of the Quarren comes out and shouts to him saying, "Hey, you killed my brother," basically. And then more of them come out. Mando says, "Let me pass." The Quarren says, "You killed my brother. Now I'm going to kill your pet." Which, by the way, killing a pet is like never a good idea, especially if you've seen John Wick.
I was about to say, you tell me these guys ain't seen The Wick of John?
Yeah. Anyway, though. So in comes Bo-Katan, though, and the others, and they step up, and she goes, or one of them goes, he didn't kill your pet, or your brother. Your brother's your pet. He didn't kill your brother. I did. And then they kill everyone there.
Yeah, it was Bo-Katan that said it.
Okay. They ask if they can buy Mando a drink, and he seems to accept because they're getting a drink next. I don't think he's probably drinking, but he's with them. They explain that Trask, which is where they're at, is a black market port. They're staging weapons that have been bought and sold with the plunders of Mandalore. They're planning to seize those weapons and use them to retake their home world. After that, they'll seat Mandalore's throne. So that's kind of their goal. Mando says that planet is cursed and anyone who goes there dies. Bo-Katan says, "Don't believe everything you hear." She says Mandalorians are stronger together. And, yeah, sorry, I'm seeing if I skipped any, because I'm just going line by line, but often enough it's not scene after scene, so I'm just making sure.
No, you're good so far.
Okay.
But, yeah, she mentions that they're stronger together, and essentially asks Mando to, like, join them, really.
Yeah.
And he just replies, he has to return the child to the Jedi.
Says this isn't part of his quest.
Yeah, and she asks what he knows about the Jedi, and as we know, he doesn't know jack squat about them.
Right.
And this is where Bo-Katan really comes in clutch, really, because like she knows quite a bit about them. She like I said before, she's fought with them and against them. Like she was around during the Clone Wars when there were literally thousands of them.
Yeah.
And so, she is definitely the person that Mando wants to speak to about it,
Right. And she says that she will, or she can lead Mando to one of the Jedi, but first they do need his help on this mission. They explain their mission, which is to board a freighter ship that is being loaded with weapons. They talk about how as it ascends into, leaving the planet, they're going to jetpack up, board it, it shouldn't have, but maybe a squad of troopers on it. And then the male comments that, and he kind of comments on their aim that has been so notorious throughout, Star Wars. He says that they couldn't hit the side of a bantha. So now that they've explained kind of their plan here, I think right here is a good place for the actual sponsor break. So I'm just going to make a quick note for that. It cuts to Mando knocking on a door, which is the Frog People's home. He asks if they'll babysit the child for him. And Mando tells the child, "I want you to be respectful and mind your manners." And then he kind of like gets a little closer and he's like, "You know what I'm talking about." Like, don't eat their children.
Well, then he leaves and the baby is like held up to the pod.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's like, "Ooh, snacks." And then we see one of the eggs actually hatches and a little tadpole comes swimming out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just witnessed a live birth.
We have.
It was very disturbing. I am disturbed and I have nightmares for days.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that they may have showed us a fake video back in health class. Because, this is way different than what I thought happened. Anyway.
Oh, God.
So, he thanks them and leaves. The child stares at the eggs. Yeah, one hatches. We then cut to that big ship taking off. And as it begins its ascent, in come the Mandalorians, just as they discussed. They throw a couple of troopers standing guard off of it. One radios that there's pirates, and then he's shot and thrown off. So it's like they're kind of alerted.
My thing is, with these ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see one later on in this season as well.
Okay.
But all the ships or quote-unquote cruisers that we've seen so far, in reality, are very small cruisers.
Yeah.
They're nothing compared to, a Republic Jedi cruiser or, an Imperial cruiser or any of the cruisers in the sequel trilogy. Compared to any of those cruisers that are actually cruisers or, battleships, these things are, I would say, think of, a cat standing next to a person. They're tiny compared to them. They're small compared to other actual cruisers. And it just kind of cracks me up whenever they talk about, oh, it's got a lot of firepower. Oh, that's a Imperial cruiser. And it's just really, it's not, though. It's really, if we're being real about this, it's really not.
I mean, it is, but not in comparison.
Yeah, compared to a person, yes. But compared to what an actual cruiser is in Star Wars, these things are nothing.
Yeah.
Is my thing.
Yeah. But anyway, the pilot says that... Or wait. Oh, I messed up. The pilot says that there's pirates again to the captain. Then a stormtrooper hits their windshield. Looks like, and I'm kind of lost on how I worded things because I swear I'm stupid. But the pilot seals them into the cockpit, I believe, and the Mandalorians start fighting all the troopers. The captain kind of radios and asks how many there are, and someone responds with at least 10. The pilot says, and then the pilot kind of points out, he's like, "There's only 4 life forms." Then one says, on the other side of the radio, "Wait, they're Mandalorians," and then he dies. And the pilot looks back, and he's kind of like, crap.
Yeah.
What?
One Mandalorian can do enough. You get 4 of them mother truckers together, it's all bets are off.
Yeah. But the captain asks how long until they climb, and they say that they can't until they leave the harbor zone. The captain then just says, he's like, "Climb now," which is kind of showing that he understands this is an actual threat and he needs to get going. And then he screams, I believe, he's like, "Climb now, come on, go, go, go."
Yeah. Well, and because it's
they begin to.
Essentially what it is if the captain can get into space and go into hyperspace, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might be able to reach their destination before the Mandalorians can actually get to the bridge. At
Right.
which case they can get reinforcements,
Mm-hmm.
But if they're stuck in atmosphere, all that means is the Mandalorians have more time to get to the bridge to stop them from going to hyperspace and hijack their cargo. And
Yeah.
he clearly understands the two options here, because really killing the Mandalorians is not one of the options here. Like, it's just not going to happen with the few troops he has.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do see one officer even say, like, we just have to hold them off until we jump to hyperspace. So.
Yeah. Where is it? Yeah, they begin to climb though. The Mandalorians keep fighting many stormtroopers. A second in command type of guy, it seems, receives commands from the captain to hold them off until they can jump to hyperspace. He relays that and aims his gun kind of at where they're coming in from. The Mandalorians come in, start firing, and the guy who was just aiming just immediately walks off, and he's like, "Close the doors, close them, close all the doors now!" Like, he's freaking out, because he sees that the targets that are coming in are Mandalorians.
Yeah.
As they close, he sighs in relief. He says that they have them trapped in the cargo control area. The captain looks like he looks kind of contained. He's like, he's at ease now. He's like, all right, everything's good.
And then
he kind of
him.
like, yeah, he starts connecting stuff. He's like, wait, where? He's like, where did you say they were? The guy repeats, he's like, the cargo control area, and then the cargo door opens and sucks them all out. But the captain then just looks nervous, but kind of calm in a way. Everybody else is kind of freaking out, but he's like obviously a little, bothered and kind of like, I don't know, worried, but he's kind of containing himself pretty well. Everybody else is like, oh crap.
Yeah, well, and then he starts talking with Bo Katan over their, the intercoms and whatnot, or over their not radios, their little radio thingamajigs, whatever they're called.
Whatever they're called, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
he's essentially, like, threatening them, like, no matter where you go, we'll find you and kill you, we'll get our cargo back.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to escape, this, that, and the other. And then she just simply says, yeah, well, we don't have to worry about that. We're taking the whole ship. Like, this is going to be ours. And she makes the comment, she's like, put some tea on. We'll be up in a minute.
Yeah. And, so, yeah, they plan to take the entire ship, though. Mando says this is more than he signed up for. And Bo Katan says that there is something she needs if she is to rule Mandalore. And these people know what it is. Mando objects a little bit, but Bo Katan pulls the card. If you want my help finding the Jedi, then you'll do this. He says, you're changing the terms of the deal. And she responds with kind of a snarky, resentful kind of, this is the way.
Mm-hmm.
But we cut back to the captain, and he radios Moff Gideon. He asks for backup, asks if it's... Moff Gideon asks if it's the same pirates. The captain says they appear to be. Gideon says that they cannot help. Says the captain knows what to do. And they kind of end with a long live the Empire.
And I just have to say,
Mm-hmm.
It's another point where I can't say anything because we're not there yet. The thing she's talking about that she needs, I know exactly what it is. I knew what it was when I first watched the episode. But I can't say anything. And it really bothers me.
Hmm.
Cough, cough, it's the...
I mean, it's pretty. Well, I guess we probably don't know entirely what it is if you're just watching it at this point.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll withhold from saying what it is. But where is it? Yeah, the captain though returns with "Long live the Empire." He then shoots the two pilots as Gideon signs off. He takes the pilot seat and just aims the whole ship straight downward. The Mandalorians freak out a bit and move faster. We actually learn the other two names of these people. So we got Bo Katan, we got Koska Reeves, and Axe Woves.
And I might be wrong, but I do think both of the other two are characters you see in Rebels as well.
Okay.
But I could be wrong on that. The big one is Bo Katan.
Yeah. Mando runs out and takes care of all these troopers firing at them. Like, he just kind of solo runs out, throws bombs, shoots and stuff, and takes care of all of them. Then all the Mandalorians, progress. They reach the cockpit. Bo-Katan interrogates the captain, asking if Moff Gideon has the Darksaber. He says, if you're asking, then you already know. Do you have anything to say right now that we learned what she's after?
I don't know if I can say it because it might be too much information.
Well, I guess we do eventually learn what it is
later on in the season.
That's true. I guess suspense or Wikipedia, however you want to decide how to figure out the information. Wait a couple more weeks or look it up. They successfully avoid crashing the ship, though. Bo-Katan tells the captain, I will let you live, but you have to take me to him. The captain says, you may let me live, but he won't. And then bites something in his mouth that electrocutes him and kills him. It's essentially, like if you've seen any of those old spy movies where there's like an enemy spy that has like a cyanide tooth or whatever. And he breaks it open, bites it, and then he poisons himself and dies. It's essentially that. He bites down on something and electrocutes himself.
Yeah, more or less.
But anyway, Mando decides to leave before they jump into light speed. He asks where he can find the Jedi. He asks where he can find the Jedi. After they tell him he can join them. I don't understand that sentence. I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm. Well, so Bo-Katan tells him where to find the Jedi, and she says that he needs to take the foundling to the city of Calodan, on the forest planet of Corvus, where he will find Ahsoka Tano and tell her that Bo-Katan sent him. And this is another point where, for many fans such as myself, got really excited.
And see, I don't even have, obviously, Ahsoka's been in the entire Clone Wars series. And part of Rebels, I know that much, but, even I was like, oh, awesome. But I don't know the full extent of, because from my understanding, there's a bit of a mystery to it, because it's where has she been since Rebels? And even then, is she even alive, right?
Essentially, yeah, because, by the end of Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano is roughly 17, 18 years old. Roughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to the end of Rebels, she's early to mid-20s. 23, I would say probably anywhere from 23 to 26, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we jump all the way to here, where we're just now hearing about her again. 30 or 20 years into the future. 15, 20 years in the future. So she's pushing 40s if she hadn't been caught by the Empire during the whole original trilogy and killed, There's no information that I'm aware of where she's been or what she's been doing. Other than the last time you see her in Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, for me, going through and watching all of Clone Wars and the amazing character arc that she has in there, like her character development and all that kind of stuff. And then, having her popping up in Rebels and be like, oh my god, she's back. Yes, awesome, dope. And then to this, where we're now hearing about her 20 years later, it's just like so many questions, mind blown, like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he's directed to find her, where to find her, and to what to do. She thanks him, sends him off. He leaps off of the ship and flies back down into the harbor area. We then cut to the child in the frog home, and he's playing with one of their kids, like a little tadpole. He's kind of toying with him, playing with him. Mando comes in and looks down at it and tells the frog couple congratulations. The child keeps reaching for it. Mando says, no, I have enough pets. Then they get to the Razor Crest, which has been repaired, but certainly it's nowhere close to perfect. He sets the child in back and starts to take off. Meanwhile, a little squid tentacle thing crawls around and starts going towards the child. Mando reaches around and grabs it, almost kind of like a sixth sense. Like he didn't really see it. He just reaches back and gets it. And the child laughs at that. Mando says he finally knows where he's taking the child, and it will be a bumpy ride. What's up?
Well, I totally just saw something. I'm so confused on why he said that. So when he gets into the cockpit, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says Mon Calamari. But they're not on Mon Calamari.
No, that's the race of people. The Admiral Akbars are Mon Calamari. He says that because they did a bang-up job of repairing a ship.
Oh, yeah, I don't, for some reason my head went to Mon Cala, which is the planet they're from.
No, that's not a planet they're from. That's a little game where you like move marbles over like little divots in a board.
What?
Mon Cala. Never mind. It's a board game. Screw it. I'm being stupid.
I'm so lost now.
It's a board game similar to checkers or chess, except there's this board of like, I don't know how many little divots, and there's a bunch of marbles in each one, and you move the marbles in order to make your play and stuff. Evan, check your phone. Check your phone.
They are from Mon Cala. I just looked it up.
Okay, look at what I just sent you.
That's completely different.
That is Mon Cala.
That is completely different. That's Man Cala.
That's
this
Mon
is
Cala.
Mon Cala.
Make your first move. I want to play this with you.
No.
Come on, let's play Mon Cala while we're recording.
Let's finish the recording.
Fine. Anyway, that's what happened though. That's why.
But
anyway, so we cut back to the child who has apparently eaten that little creature that Mando caught. And they take off. They jump into space, and as they do, they lose a piece of the ship. End of episode. Did you make your move? Did you play it back? Dude, awesome. Yeah, you move each little like group of marbles the equivalent amount of spaces. If you land in an empty one of yours and it's adjacent to one of the other players, you can capture all their marbles, and you try to get the most at the end.
Oh.
And if you land in your bank at the... I know we're recording, but we're just... No, you know what? Learn how to play Mon Cala, okay? Anyway, if you land in your bank, you get another move.
Anyways,
so
shut up, I'm making the child eats the weird squid thingy. As we see the Razor Crest go off into space on their merry way.
Mm-hmm.
End episode.
Yep, end of episode, and it is your turn. Anyway, So yeah, that was an episode that was all over the place. I'll admit that. Not the episode of The Mandalorian, but the episode of our podcast. I did a lot of narration because it was a really fast-paced kind of like a lot happened in this episode, but like I feel like a lot of it was fairly, kind of like surface level in a way,
Yeah, more or less.
where like not a lot needed to be dove into.
It's your turn, by the way.
I know I'm doing it. Just a sec. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do. So if I go 1, 2, 3,
there
4,
wasn't a
5,
whole
6.
lot of-
Ooh, hey, check this. No,
There wasn't a
never mind.
whole
Go
lot
ahead.
of like in detail
2,
stuff
3,
to
4,
cover.
5, 6. Oh man, I messed it up.
And so, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot for me to try and really get into.
Yeah. So I mean, but I walked through your turn, and I just, I said what had occurred, and yeah. But that's chapter 11 of Mandalorian. There's multiple ways you guys, if you've listened this far, I feel like this was more of a boring episode. I failed a sponsor break and, whatever. But anyway, if you want to get in contact with us, you can check us out on Instagram. Link is in the description for that one. You can also email us at yourindepth@gmail.com. Evan, it's your turn again. You can find us on TikTok and... yeah, so Gmail, TikTok, Instagram. We have the Discord, and also on YouTube. I'm going to be posting these episodes on YouTube. So if you find them, it'll be on Rude, Crude, and Socially Unacceptable, which is my YouTube channel. And you can see other gameplay, other stuff where Evan and I do things on his channel, Future Instinct. So we have different ways you can find us, get in contact with us, view other things we do, and so forth. Do you want to quickly remind them of our goals that we're shooting towards as I take my turn on Mancala?
Oh, I suppose. So as always, every 1,000 downloads is a blooper reel. We're actually really close. So I would imagine once this episode goes out, correct me if I'm wrong, once this episode goes out, we'll probably be there for the next blooper reel.
We're very close. I don't know how close. So potentially.
Yeah. But we are pretty close, so definitely stay tuned for that. Mm-hmm. And then every 100 reviews on Apple that we get will be a live stream where you guys can interact and ask questions, leave comments and whatnot while we cover whatever episode or part of movie that we're on. And I've said it every time, and I'll say it again. That's on you guys, spreading the word, leaving those reviews. So if you guys want that, let peeps know about us. But yeah.
Yep. Other than that, I'm hoping to get this published on August 4th, which is a Wednesday. Evan, for you and I, that is tomorrow. I'm hoping to get this one published by then. So if you actually, okay, here, let me get your input really quick. Since we like to record a week in advance, should we schedule this for next week?
I'd say so.
Get that covered? Okay, never mind about that. Scratch what I just said. You will be listening to this on Monday. Check back with us on Thursday to listen to us cover the beginning of the Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah.
The third Hobbit movie. So, yeah. So, yeah, sorry about that. Also, sorry about our break. We haven't really truly established a schedule necessarily, but we're attempting to.
Yeah, and Evan had medical emergencies, so that's why we had the break. So.
Right, and then this last weekend, this last weekend I went up to Michigan, so we didn't really get to record that weekend and so forth. So anyway,
yeah.
Okay.
All right, how did you capture all?
Okay, bye.
I'm
so if you are to land on a blank space that is right across from a full space or one with any marbles in it, you capture those marbles. So the last move where you drop your marbles, is if it is a blank little divot and it is across from a full one or one with any in it, you get those in it.
But I just did that and it didn't do it.
Oh, but it has to be on your side.
That's dumb.
Well, I don't make the rules. I don't even know who made this game. We need to stop. Oh, see you on Thursday.
Peace.
Deuces.